Hello everyone, I'm Nate and welcome to the channel. Today we have a Begleri review for you, a Begleri review. We're still up in the air on pronunciation there, so if you've not contributed to the pronunciation of Begleri or Begleri, let me know in the comments, because these things matter. They really do. Alright, so we have here the Bellgleri. This is the newest Begleri set from Rain City Skills, so we're going to talk about the Bellgleri. Let's get into this little set right here. Okay. All right, so let's talk about the construction, then we'll kind of sling it around a little bit. Pardon for the sniffles, I'm a little bit of a sniffleupagus. Let's talk about the construction of these little beads. So it gets its name, Bellgleri, as in it's shaped like a bell. All right, so there you go. It is very much shaped like a kind of like a bell. Yeah. These are titanium. It's also polished, very much just like the gourds were, which I actually have right here as well. It's a little bit of a reference. We're not going to compare too much here, but as far as weight, they're actually about the same, but they feel very different. All in, this set is right at that about 21 grams, so cord and everything. I have them laced up here with the 550 paracord. You could use 425 or what is it? Yeah, 275, 425, is that right? Like, I'm getting them mixed up. But yeah, 550 is what I have. That's kind of standardly what I use. It's your personal preference. I have not tried other cord on this, so it actually might do maybe a little bit better. Again, I think that's a little bit preference, but sometimes people feel like, oh, certain bead or weight distributions or something like that, or sizes or whatever, kind of fit well with a certain cord, like maybe a thinner cord or a standard 550. I think that's considered standard now. Polished, like I said, titanium. It is a much smaller, more nimble bead, but still kind of not in like the super light category. As far as the weight, I would put it not too heavy, not too light either, right? So in the lighter side of things, I would put it in like that 8 grams and lower would be really light. And so it's a small set, but not super light, but fairly light, not like 15 grams or something, right? I haven't seen a set that heavy for a while. Maybe we're out of that, perhaps. I'd be curious if anybody who plays Begleri on this, who's watching this, what weight do you prefer, right? Do you like heavier sets, like over 12 grams maybe per bead? Or do you like really light sets, like 8 grams or lighter? So here's the thing. I brought out the gourds here because I wanted to kind of show a point that design matters, is that the gourds are about the same weight, almost I think exactly, as the Bellgleri here, but these are larger, the gourds are, and the Begleri are a much more nimble set, but yet the Begleri, even though they're the same, mass, they actually feel heavier in the hand, and they feel heavier in the play as far as the momentum. And so that's all about the design, and because the weight on these are a little bit more kind of like, because of its smaller size, it's kind of like in yo-yo, right? When you have a smaller diameter yo-yo, the weight feels like it's all one piece, right? It's not like, you don't get a lot of opportunity for something like rim weight and things like that. And it's a little bit similar here with Begleri as far as design. Of course, they're smaller, and you're working with different parameters, of course, but it has that same kind of feel to me. Like, because it's smaller in that same weight, it has actually a little bit more heavier of a feel in the play. I like the sort of almost tactileness of these. They kind of, kind of going back and forth. You can kind of like do that like washboard sort of effect with them. So that's kind of fidgety in and of itself. I also appreciate that you can hide the cord in there as well, so they can sit flat, maybe on a flat surface or what have you, but it's completely flat as well. And so that's nice. Same thing with the gourds, and I like that. So if you're gonna kind of create a single bead, that's kind of nice for me. If it's, maybe a split bead or 2 bead configuration, I'm not as picky on that, but I think that's kind of nice, and it kind of gives a nice, like, just a cleaner look all around. So like I said, 550 paracord, it will take others as well, so the bore is just large enough and not too large where it's going to be sliding at all. These beads are not moving on the cord at all, but they slip off just fine if you need to do that. Let's go and actually play them, flip around the camera a little bit and see how they play on a sling. I almost said on the string, but on a sling. Okay, all right, here we go. So yeah, I mean, like I said, these are smaller, a little bit more nimble than any set I've seen from Rain City Skills. Now, I've not played some of their really much older sets, but it's certainly smaller and a little bit more compact rather than maybe like the gourds were, but about the same mass. And so they have just a different feel completely, right? And so that's, design is everything, right? But as far as like kind of like manipulating them around for technicals kind of stuff, I've actually had a lot of fun with these. I've been kind of messing with this sort of kind of twist maneuver. I like that a lot. So here, I'll show it to you really quick. So from a low grip, all right, you're gonna kind of go over and then back this way, and it has this spiral, and you catch it here and then let it untwist. And that extra, ever so extra weight, like whenever I picked up maybe a little bit lighter weight ones or really extra lightweight ones, it's been a little bit more challenging for those kind of things, like, because I know exactly where this is going. Usually, like I said, I tend to prefer a little bit lighter weight, but I actually have really enjoyed these ones. And I think it's smart that they are smaller and just ever so heavier than maybe what a lot of like the modern sets out there will be, as far as like kind of maybe in that 9 grams. I don't think they would play like I would want them to play at 9 gram. So maybe with a lighter set, I would feel like I'm losing a little bit of control there just because of the size and all that. Now I would say, you know, it seems like it's more of a barrel shape, but that's maybe a little misleading because the ledge here is pretty rounded, right? So it's not gonna feel like maybe a typical, you know, square barrel type of shape or square edge there, right? So it's gonna slip a little bit more like a rounded shape. Maybe not nearly as much as maybe their gourds, right? But it's gonna have a similar feel like that. You're gonna maybe have a little bit more grip, but that ledge is pretty small and it's rounded off, and then you have even a little bit more of a rounded edge at the top there. You know, keep that in mind. So like, I don't know, whenever you're doing like tricks that you might, you know, rely on that edge a little bit more, maybe that's an example there with those rolling stops. You have to be a little bit more, you know, mindful of that maybe. So don't bank on the fact that it's like that. So it's kind of almost a hybrid between. All right, so there you have it. That is my review of the Bellgleri from Rain City Skills. This is a really fun set. A really nice, again, kind of more nimble set, but it's still got a little bit of heft, so it's gonna have lots of momentum in your tricks, and a set that you definitely feel its presence in the midst of combos and so on. So I really dig it. I like that mirror polish a lot too. I like the look of this bead, very aesthetically pleasing. And I love even the tactileness feel of it, right? And of course the titanium. Who doesn't like titanium? It's gonna take a beating. So that's gonna do it for now for my review of the Bellgleri from Rain City Skills. Check them out. I have a link in the description where you can find this when it releases. And until the next one, later.